Hey, I'm Markia. Want to hear something scary?
Frozen Fury. It was a hard winter, made even harder for Daphne and her sister Amira by the relentless bullying they received on their walks to school each day. They were constantly ambushed by bullies who would pelt them with snowballs packed with rocks. Sometimes they would take their backpacks and empty them into the street. The worst bully was Keith, who made sure to take the girls' lunches each day. They had had enough. They snuck into their grandmother's room and took one of her forbidden books. It was a book that gave them instructions on how to build a mystical guardian, otherwise known as a golem. In ancient times, their Jewish ancestors were said to have constructed golems out of clay or mud for protection. Building a golem was no easy task, but they felt like they had no other option. Because it was winter and the ground was frozen and covered in snow, they had trouble finding clay. So the two decided to mix in some snow and build a giant snowman that would hopefully work as their golem. The sisters walked in a circle around the snowman and chanted the ancient words from their grandmother's book. Then Amira hoisted Daphne on her shoulders so the girl could etch the secret symbols onto the snowman's forehead. Finally, they held hands and stood before their snowman golem and gave it its mission: punish all bullies. And then they waited. But nothing happened. Disheartened, they headed home. Daphne and Amira's walk to school the next day was shockingly uneventful. No one bothered them, and in fact, the kids that normally bullied them seemed to avoid the girls completely. That is, until they got to Keith. Keith demanded their lunches, and Daphne and Amira sighed and opened their backpacks, resigned to another day of bullying. Keith then took their lunch bags and emptied them onto the ground. He looked them in the eye as he stomped on their food. Tears welled up in their eyes, and just as Keith began to laugh at them, a snowball the size of a basketball plowed him in the head and knocked him off his feet. The girls turned to see where the snowball had come from and found their snow golem standing not too far behind them, unmoving. Keith was furious. He pushed himself up off the ground and balled his fists. Then he looked around to see who would have dared to do that. He marched past the girls, and as he neared the snowman, it jerked to life and lifted him off the ground. Daphne begged the golem not to hurt Keith, but Amira laughed and cheered as the creature tossed the boy effortlessly across the street and into a snowbank. Keith was shaken as he got back on his feet and ran away. Daphne looked once again at the unmoving snowman and her cheering sister. She wondered that she and her sister had gone too far. The next day, Daphne found her sister at lunch, standing by a trash can with a malicious smile on her face. Inside the trash can was a lot of uneaten food and also books. Daphne accused her sister of being a bully just like Keith and his friends. "This isn't bullying. This is revenge," Amira exclaimed. On the walk home, none of the bullies would make eye contact with the sisters, including Keith, who ran across the street to avoid them. When Daphne asked Amira about it, she told her not to worry. But just as the girls turned the corner, they found their snowman golem towering over them. The girls took a step back as it raised its monstrous hand and pointed an icy finger at Amira. The snow parted where a mouth would be and let loose in a voice that sounded like gravel scraping against ice.
"Punish all bullies."
The girls ran as fast as they could to get away from their monster, but every time they looked back, it was lumbering closer. Then it palmed Amira's head and lifted her off the ground. Daphne knew it was planning to toss her sister like it did Keith, but there was no snowbank to break her fall, only icy roads and jagged trees. Daphne had to act fast. As the lumbering snowman held her sister's head and ready to throw her, Daphne quickly made a snowball and took aim. The snowball smashed into the secret symbols on the golem's forehead, disconnecting the creature from its mystical power. The golem fell into a pile, and Amira landed on top, completely unnerved and fully aware of how close she had been to death. As the terrified girl stumbled away, neither noticed that snow landed on the scuffed marks on the golem's forehead. The ancient marks slowly started to reform as it started to take shape again. A golem must complete its purpose once made. Neither Daphne or Amira warranted its attention again, but now it was loose on the world, and one desire burned within its icy heart.
Punish